Hello everybody, it's CeCe from CECE Restyled. Welcome to my page. The unthinkable has happened today, and I had an extra 45 minutes or so before I have other obligations. So I was going to do some work on this piece, which means I'm gonna go ahead and jump on my live feed because why not? It never fails. Every time I post a piece, somebody always says, do you have a video on that? And I hate saying no, so here I am. Today we're working on this custom end table, just one custom end table. And it's an old Merceman single drawer with a shelf on the bottom. And this piece had a very thick, not laminate, very thick, what's it called? Oh gosh, I'm spacing the word. Not laminate, but it had a thick top that was not wood, and it was shiny and glossy and not wood. So we threw a couple of coats of Slick Stick from Dixie Belle, which is an adhesion primer, on the top of this bad boy last night. I let it dry overnight, and then this morning I went ahead and threw one coat of paint on it, and this is in the navy from Dixie Belle. Hey everybody, I'm sorry, you know, this was just an impromptu live, so I appreciate you tuning in. Baby is good, right? She just wanted mama, so as soon as I went upstairs, she was just peachy and snuggly, and then went right to bed, and then I finished out what I was doing after she was safe and sound asleep. She didn't want daddy last night. She only wanted mommy. I mean, it kind of makes you feel good, right? Like, you know, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but she loves her mama. Thank you for asking. But today we're going to try to get in a quick 45 minutes or so on this piece. Just one of my custom orders that I would like to get on its way. So we're going to see how far we can get. Like I said, one coat of in the navy on here now. So I cleaned it down with White Lightning, slick stuck the top, two coats, let it dry overnight. Letting it dry overnight is a super important part of using the Slick Stick if you want it to work effectively anyway. So we are doing all the things to this piece. Customer request. She picked 4 different transfers. I'm throwing in a 5th one based on some other feedback she gave me. And we're doing 3 different blues. Some blendiness happening on here. And yeah, 5 different transfers. It's gonna happen. So anyways, that's what I got going on. And I've also got, in addition to in the navy, which is this super dark navy. Sometimes it looks almost black in photos. It's a very, very dark navy, which when you think about it, navy is really, really dark blue, almost black. Like when you're looking at suit pants, I mean, if you look at suit pants, I can imagine, because I don't, you know, you can kind of not really tell when they're navy and when they're black, and you have to hold them up next to each other. That's what a true navy is, like dark, dark blue. So in the navy, and then I've got some Yankee blue and some antebellum blue to blend in there. So I'm just gonna kind of wing it with the blending because I'm not exactly sure where and how. It's all gonna happen. I just haven't really thought out the blending part. I just know what colors I want to use. So we're gonna go ahead and start there. I'm gonna start on the drawer, or the draw, whatever you call it, depending on where you're from. I'm gonna start on the drawer while it's in here, and then I'll take it out and finish the rest, painting the rest of it. So I'm gonna start by doing the 2nd coat of in the navy. I dare you to not sing in the navy when you're painting with in the navy. I dare you. I'm trying not to right now. Hey everybody, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. I know it's a weird Monday afternoon, kind of in between things here, so I decided I would hop on and have some company while I paint this here end table. So I'm going to go ahead and open up all 3 blues, Yankee blue and antebellum blue, which I always get excited to use antebellum blue. It's one of my favorite blues, but then again, I like blues and I like purples and I like greens. So what's really not my favorite, you know? If I can get it open. Okay, well, this is being stubborn. This is being stubborn. Oh, gosh. Oh, girl, that's not even half my paint. That's not even half my paint. But I blow through it, so it's always revolving. I have revolving paint supply. But I am a lucky gal. I always have what I need, fortunately, to get the job done. Okay, so antebellum blue in your face. That's antebellum blue. I love it. Isn't it amazing? All right, so see, I got you singing in the navy, didn't I? I'm sorry. Not sorry. Not sorry. I'm not really that sorry. Okay, get these little crusties around the edge of my lid. Okay, so I got my in the navy brush here, which is, I'm using a flat large synthetic brush from Dixie Belle. I'm using the large because I'm covering the most of this piece with in the navy, so I wanted to have good coverage, and so I used a larger brush. And I'm digging flat brushes lately. I've pretty much always used oval brushes, and lately I'm really digging the flats. So for my other two accent colors, I'm using the flat small, because this is such a small piece that I just want to be able to get little accents here and there, blah, blah. And I usually use a big fat round blending brush to do blending of my colors, but I don't want a super big fadey blend. I want a more painterly, smudgy effect kind of blend, so I'm using just a flat chip brush. This is just the cheap chip brush from Dixie Belle. They have a premium chip brush and then the cheapy chip brush. I love the premium chip brushes, I really do, but these, I just happen to have this one handy, so I grabbed this one. It's just for blending. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with my in the navy. My in the navy. I can't carry tunes, so I apologize. I'm just gonna apologize now. All right, so I'm gonna make sure to get my drawer sides, the edges, I mean, the top and the side edges. Whoop. Joop, 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 joop. There we go. This color in the navy has got amazing coverage. It's really great. Most Dixie Belle paints do, but this one is super, super extra great. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm painting my second coat of in the navy, as you can see. And I'm not going on too heavy thick with it. And I'm not misting it with water. The reason why I'm not misting it with water is because I don't want to keep it as wet as I normally would for like a nice big cloudy pretty blend. I want it to dry just a little bit because I don't want it to blend too much. I want to keep the colors separated but blended at the same time. Does that make sense? So you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second, hopefully. Well, Jenny, let's see. I probably would need to know a little bit more about your process and how you're blending. Are you making sure that your paint is misted but not too much? So are you using a continuous fine spray mister or a regular squirt bottle? Are you using, what kind of brush are you using to blend? Are you wetting it or are you keeping it dry? Are you blending too much? Because that can be a problem. Have you tried blending it in a smaller area without water to see what happens? So there's a lot of different variables that can affect how the outcome of your blending efforts. So there's some different variables. You can feel free to private message me if you need some more honed in advice, but those are some things to think about. Okay, so I think this is just dry enough where I want it to be. I'm gonna grab my other little brushes and I'm gonna probably start with the Yankee. Let's do some Yankee blue. Yankee blue and in the navy blended together are fantastical. Like they just go together like mac and cheese, you know? Mac and cheese, peanut butter and jelly, they go together like that. So I got a glare, I can't see. So I'm just putting a little bit of subtle in the navy. Just a little bit. Just some like little action here in the corners. And I'm gonna take my chip brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend easily, almost like I'm just kind of dragging the colors together. So I'm not really blending like I normally do. I'm more of like dragging. That's why I wanted them to dry just a little bit so they didn't blend too much. So I'm dragging my paint colors together. I want it to look like brush strokes. You know what I'm saying? I want a painterly look. I want it to look painted. I don't want it to look just blendy and cloudy and all the other things I usually am going for when I'm trying to get a blended finish. Is that better? I'm not having good luck with this lighting here. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to Antebellum Blue, which is way more of a zing. It doesn't, it blends well with these colors, but it's way more contrasting, I guess, if you will. So we're going to add some Antebellum, kind of just like that. Just random. Honestly, don't think about it too much. You want it more random. The more random, the more better. I feel like random can look natural and random can look forced, and if you think about it too much, it tends to look forced. So we want not forced looking blendy colors. So yeah, a little bit more here to blend that out, and a little bit more here, and then just kind of drag my paint through the other colors. Just dragging. I'm not pressing hard. Not pressing hard, just dragging lightly. Dragging lightly. Okay, so you see how that looks a little bit more painted rather than like a nice streamy ethereal blend. So that's what I am doing to this whole piece. Painterly. Painterly is the word of the day. So I'm going to take this drawer out and let it dry, and then move on to, I'll go ahead and do the front since we're already here. All right, so I'm going to paint my front side, the side of the top. And up underneath that lip, give that a little bit of blue in the navy. Come down my legs. And inside the little, where the drawer goes, sometimes that shows when the drawer's all the way shut. So I like to paint that, if not all the way, at least an inch or so. I've had several pieces I finished and then I realized that that part was going to show, and then I realized I goofed it up and I didn't paint that whole part. So we're going to come down the legs and paint the inside of the legs. And again, notice I'm not mixing with water. I wanted to dry it a little bit on me so that I can drag my other colors of paint through these colors, through this color. Alright, so we're going to bring this down. Bring it on down, around town. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go over to our Yankee Blue. Get a little bit of that loaded up on our brush. I'm gonna drag a little bit across here. Maybe a little bit across here. And then maybe a little bit coming up here. Maybe a little coming up here, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so I'm gonna give that just a second to dry, just a little bit. And then I'm just gonna drag my chip brush through it. Kind of blend it in, not totally. I'm gonna wipe the excess paint off my brush though, so I don't muddy up my colors. That's not the goal. Boom. All right, so can you even see it? I can see it. I don't know if you can see it on screen. So I don't know. It's fairly subtle, but I can definitely see it. Hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your kind words. You guys are so nice. Oh yes, come check out the shop. I welcome everybody. Fly in, drive in, take a train, run, walk, take the bus, I don't care. You should come in and see the new shop. I love visitors. I love surprise visitors too. That's always the best. All right, so I'm going to take my antebellum blue now and just do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of like randomly do some little, you know, doodads here and there. No rhyme or reason, because when you think about it too much is when you start to second guess yourself. So let that dry just a little bit, and then I'm going to drag my brush through it to just drag the paint colors together just a little bit. And I had mentioned earlier that I am using about 5 different transfers on this piece. So my client sent me a bunch of pictures of all these florals, and some were hand painted, some were transfers, and I'm like, well, I have all of those transfers, and you know, which ones do you like? And she goes, well, can you use all of them? And I'm like, oh, okay, I sure can. I would be happy to use all of them for you. Happy to. So while I'm here on this front view, I'm going to go ahead and paint my little shelf down here. Get the second coat of In the Navy on my little shelf. And I probably am going to mist this with just a little bit of water, not too much, just a little bit, because this is such a bigger area of, you know, of the piece being painted rather than just these small areas, and it will dry up on me. And I want it a little dry, but not too crazy dry. You know what I'm saying? There's a happy medium to where I can still blend it, but it's sort of dry. You know what I mean? I think you're picking up what I'm putting down, I hope. All right, so I'm going to mist it just a little bit because of size. I've gotten in a really bad habit of painting straight out of the jar. I don't know if you guys do that or not. I'm going to guess I'm probably not the only one who does that. But I really attribute it to being lazy, because I don't like to clean out extra stuff, extra brushes, extra cups, so I just paint right out of the jar. I don't suggest it, but you know, YOLO, okay? YOLO. You only live one time, so just paint out of the jar if you feel like it, right? Am I right? Okay, so we're gonna move on to this side and paint this little edge here. This little edge. Then we're going to paint the last of the surface here. Maybe just a little bit more water. Not a lot, just a little. All right, and then I get my brush strokes going all one direction because I'm a little OCD. All right, and then I'm just gonna get this little back lip here and the little, I think I already got the other side, no, and then the little edge on the other side. And then we'll blendy blend the shelfie shelf. I don't know how far I'm gonna get today, but I'm super excited to use all the transfers because I get to mix and match from 4 different floral transfers. She wanted all the colors, so I'm gonna give her all the colors. And that's the thing I like about the transfers, and the fact that there's, you know, there's a good variety, but I don't ever feel restricted about the transfer designs that I have available. You know, like a lot of times I'll see someone comment like, oh, they need to come out with more variety, or one that looks like this, or one that looks like that. Well, everybody has an opinion, obviously, and everyone would like to see something else. But I try to work with what I have, and I never feel constricted or restricted based on my options, because I have an imagination, and so I can cut and chop and paste and rub and seal and whatever, all the different kinds to create custom looks, one-of-a-kind custom looks. So I have the same transfers that everyone else in the world has access to, but that doesn't mean we all have to create the same piece of art. We can all come up with something different. All right, I'm taking my inky blue and I'm just kind of making some like, I don't know, strokes. Some little strokes. So this corner, and then I'll come down here and bring some strokes there with the Yankee blue. And I'm gonna let that dry for just a second. Can you see that where I'm painting just, you know, like some strips almost of the color? And then I just barely blend them together with my chip brush. So it's just a little bit different of a look than I'm used to doing, but this is what I'm envisioning in my head. So I'm gonna run with it. Hey everybody. Yeah, I know, right? Painting out of the jar. You know what? Let's just all unite and paint out of the jar, and then everyone else that doesn't paint out of the jar will be the minority. They'll be the weirdos. I did find my brush. Literally, as soon as I shut off the camera and I stood up, I found my brush. And I swear, I looked all over the floor, and it was right where I had looked like 3 times. So that's how it works out. But yeah, I found my brush, put the baby to bed, and all was well. So, you know, don't anybody call CPS on me. She's fine. All right, so, oh God, that scared me. That was just the draw falling over. All right, so now I'm just gonna drag my chip brush through my paints, make colors, and just barely blend them together. Barely, and I'm gonna go this way a little bit. There we go, I like it, I like it. I love it when a plan comes together. All right, so now these, just lightly, seriously, lightly drag your paintbrush through. Like, just use a tiny bit. Don't burn too many calories trying to blend this method, okay? All right, so can you see? I don't know if you can see that back part, but you can see the front. See that look that we get? So now I'm gonna do the same thing with my antebellum. And let's see, let's do some antebellum here. Oh, I love antebellum blue. Goodness gracious. It's literally the best color. Okay, depending on what day you ask me, I'll have a different favorite color of paint. Today is antebellum blue. Fun fact for you. All right, so I got a little antebellum blue there. I'm gonna do a little bit back in this corner, not too much. I don't wanna get overwhelmed with the color itself. Let it dry for just a second. And then just very lightly drag my brush through my antebellum blue. All right, cool. So it's almost, I mean, dare I say, because I don't want you to think that this is where I'm going with this, but it's almost like a denim texture, almost, with just a little bit of the cross hatching and the different blues. I'm not going for denim, but I mean, if I had to liken it to something, I would say it's pretty close. So can you see it with the antebellum blue now? So that's what I'm going for. I wanted it to look like it was painted, you know? So I'm all for the brush strokes on this piece. They are not a bad thing on this piece. All right, so I think we're gonna move on to this side. Oh, I didn't get this back corner here. Whoop. Right. Maybe you can see that better? A little bit, a little bit. Okay, so kind of subtle, but if you look close, you can see the different colors, so that's cool, right? Let's go ahead and do this side. So back to my in the navy. In the navy. In the navy. And Make sure we get this lip here. Up underneath the top. Make sure you get that. It's easy to forget to do up underneath there. Right about now is normally when I would be misting this with water because it's pretty thick, but the brush strokes on this project are my friend, so I'm not trying to minimize those by any means. I'm actually kind of trying to play them up or create brush strokes, if you will. All right, so I'm coming down the leg. Make sure I get the inside of the leg. I've gotten all the way done with the project before and looked at it and realized there was a whole side of the leg that I forgot. That's annoying. Like, really? Just when you think you're done and you're not. Womp womp. Alright, so I think I gotta just get this side, inside. All right, now we're gonna move on to Yankee. Oh, Yankee, where do I want thee? Let's come around here with some Yankee. Go ahead and bring that like that. And then I'll do a little bit over here. Just random. And heck, let's just do a little bit here. Because why not? Why not? All right, so let that dry for just a second. It looks crazy, right? You're like, what in the world? What is she doing? This girl has no idea what she's doing. Well, guess what? You're right. I don't have any idea what I'm doing. I just do. I just do. I'm not an expert. I just know what I see in my head, and I do what I think I gotta do to get there. And if it doesn't turn out, then I just paint over it and try again. It's just paint. It's just paint. You never know. Maybe you'll discover some really sweet new technique that you didn't know existed and nobody knew existed, and then you'll be like, you'll be the cool kid for coming up with a brand new technique. So play around. I mean, bored is not something in my vocabulary. That's not a word that my brain recognizes, but maybe you do. If you ever get bored or burn out or exhausted on what you're doing, or you just need a break, maybe you do a little art therapy and grab a wood board and some paints and some brushes and just play around and see what kind of cool techniques and looks you can come up with just by playing around. You know what I mean? You never know. Never know. You could come up with the next big thing. All right. A little bit of antebellum blue. I don't know though, you guys. If I couldn't paint, I don't know what I would do with my life. I'll tell you that. All right, let's do some antebellum goodness right there. And then a little bit coming up from this leg. And a little bit right there. Why not? Why not? Boom. All right, so I'll let that dry for just a second. Just a second. Hopefully that's coming through pretty good. Oh, how is everyone doing? Oh, what size chip brush do I use? This one is 2-inch. 2 inches. 2 inches. All right, cool. Well, I think that's dry enough. We're just gonna go ahead and drag our brush through our colors. Try to blend them just a little bit. Just like we've been doing. And this one. a little hard for me to see what I'm doing with these lights. The glare is shining on the wet paint, so it's a little tricky. So I just gotta look at it from different angles and make sure it's doing what I want. All right, so drag my paint through. Yes, girl, yes, that's what we were going for. All right, cool. So rocking and rolling along here on this piece. We're done with this side now. We's done with this side. See, just the subtle variations and all the different blues, like, that's what it's all about sometimes is, oh, Nita, I know, right? If I couldn't make things, I would be in a loony bin somewhere. Sometimes, you know, using different colors and blending and blah, 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 like all that stuff, it's not always about making some huge, crazy statement. As you can see, I'm keeping it pretty subtle. You know, like this is not crazy contrasty blends here. And sometimes that's what makes all the difference, you know? When you're looking at a piece of art, sometimes you really love it, and you can't always put your finger exactly on what it is about it that you love. And that's kind of what this is doing for me. It's almost like I want you to see it and be like, okay, that looks cool. Why does it look cool? You know, I could throw a big old flower on here, which I'm gonna throw some big old flowers on here, but I want it to be cool on its own, even if I don't put transfers or stencils or anything else on here. And that's what I'm going for. So there's that. There's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, so I think after this side, we just got one more side. Hopefully I make it to the other side. I don't know. I got a jet here in about 5. Got a ski-daddle. Ski-daddle. Well, I'm glad that I had a few extra minutes in between obligations so I could hop on here. I like doing lives because I like interacting with folks, and you know, I work alone most of the day, so it's nice to not just be talking to myself or feeling lonely, you know what I'm saying? Nice to not feel lonely. All right, well, no, not last side, that's the last side, second to last side here. And Yankee blue, some random Yankee blue. Gosh, I love this color. This is a great color. And we'll come down here a little bit. And then we'll come up here a little bit. All right, boom. Let that dry for just a second. Look, we're pros now. We're moving on quickly because we have mastered our technique. All right, so I'm just dragging my brush right on through them colors. Gently. Still going gently. All right, cool. Perfect. All right, that's what I'm going for. Now I need a little bit of antebellum. Ooh, antebellum, I love you. I love you, antebellum. Okay, so let's see. We want to do a little bit of antebellum right here. And a little here. And a little here. Whoa, that might have been quite a lot. And a little here. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe a little bit of that off with my brush. Okay, there we go. So, taking it from the top, drag my antebellum blue into my Yankee and my in the navy. Easy like Sunday morning. And then one quick drag up like that. And maybe a couple little swipes over here. There we go. Cool. And that's it for that side. Okay, so we are gonna have time to do this last side. We got one last side, peeps. One last side. Look at that pretty bluey goodness. Pretty bluey goodness. Blue hued goodness. You guys, oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you all tuning in, and the folks who make me feel like I'm not doing this for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like the people who support me, that keep me doing these. I appreciate you all. Because, you know, Lord knows there's enough negative comments and negative people in this world, enough to make a person want to just give up. But you all keep me going and keep me painting, at least on lives. And that makes me happy, because I don't do this because I like to be on camera. I do not. I do this because I like to share what I know, which isn't a whole lot, but I do like to share what I do know with, you know, people, because guess what? I learned somehow, you know, like I learned from trial and error. I learned from watching videos. I learned from asking questions. I didn't learn all by myself necessarily, you know, like I didn't invent painting or furniture art. So it all stems from somewhere, and I like to pay it forward. Makes me feel good. Give me some karma points, you know what I'm saying? Everybody needs those karma points. All right, so we are so close to being done. All you have to do after this is the top, which I'll probably have to do later because we're getting short on time. But we do have time to finish off this side, so I will, as soon as I finish this side up, I will show you the transfers I'm going to use though, because I'm really excited about the fact that I get to use all the transfers, you know, like not every day does a client say, yes, give me all the flowers, you know, and I love me some florals. Love me some florals. Florals and stripes are always going to be a classic. Two things that don't go out of style are nature and stripes. It's just a fact. Right, so Yankee blue for the win. Let's go ahead and come down here. I think I'm feeling it right here. Woo, yes, yes, I'm feeling it right there. And then let's come down here. Feeling that, yes I am. And then, maybe a little here. All right, cool. Let that dry for just a sec, quick sec. All right, well, I'm gonna let that dry for a second. Thank you, Christina and Rhonda. Y'all are so sweet. And Gloria, all of you are super sweet. Yes, loving these colors too. I'm in a blues mood today. Some days I'm in a purple mood, some days I'm in a pink mood. Okay, not very often I'm in a pink mood, but it's usually a purple mood or a blue mood. I mean, catch me on a blue mood day. Okay, so I'm just continuing on like we have been, dragging my colors, literally dragging them across. All right, antebellum blue time, and then it's skedaddle time. Actually, I'm going to show you my transfers here in just a second. A little bit of antebellum, let's call it like that. And then, let's see, maybe a little here. And maybe a little here. And then, give it a second. I like the chip brush for this method too, or technique or whatever, because it's a cheap brush. It's kind of got these like crazy bristles, and that kind of adds to the brush strokey goodness that I'm trying to go for, like that brush stroke texture that I want. So the fact that this is a cheap brush is working in my favor today. All right, so we're gonna blend our antebellum in gently, or drag it through the other colors, whatever you want to call it. Drag it, blend it, flip it, smack it. There we go. All right, cool. Sweet. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so we are done. Except for the top, I got to do the top, but I will have to do that later. So I put my brushes in a Ziploc bag. When I'm not done with them, I put them in a Ziploc bag, and then I take my water and I just give it a mist inside the bag to keep them from drying out until I wash them or use them next, whatever. So real quick, before I let you go, so I'm using 5 transfers. This one is a gold, it's called Gilded Ornate Flourishes. It's a foil transfer. So it's gold, these little gold shapes. And I'm gonna use that on the inside of the drawers because my customer requested to have some scrolly shapes lining the inside of the drawer so that when she opens it, she would have a nice little detail there. So that's what that one is for. And then the 4 florals that she requested are all my favorites. I love them all, but these are all my favorites. Imperial Garden. Look at those pretty colors. There's some blues in there, pinks, magentas. I mean, and this one, Wondrous Floral. I mean, this transfer has it all. It's got all the colors. I mean, seriously, all the colors. Then I got my personal favorite. If I had to choose one transfer to use for the rest of my life, and only one transfer to use for the rest of my life, it would be Rose and Rouge. Is that what I said a minute ago? Rose and Rouge. It's a good one. It's a good one. Oh, and then the last but not least, Ruby Rose. One of my, it's up there. It's top 5 right here. It matches a lot of different things. So, that's what I got for you. I'm going to hop off here, go pick up Chillins from school, and I will see you all Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Dixie Belle page if you want to hang out there with me for a little bit. But other than that, it's Monday, so I hope you all have a wonderful week. It's early in the week, so make it a good one. And I love you all, and I appreciate you all, and you all have a great week. Bye.